If you're searching for the best outsourced COO, there's a good chance you've already reached an obvious conclusion. You need senior operational leadership. You just don't need it 40 hours a week, and you definitely don't want to commit to a $200,000 salary before you're sure if it's the right move. Hi there, I'm Derek Fredrickson, founder of the COO Solution, and this is precisely the stage where many of our clients find us. They're growing, they're scaling, and they feel the operational strain. But a full-time COO feels like too much, too soon. That's where part-time or fractional outsourced COO support becomes the smartest option. Let me start with the cost reality, because this is often the first barrier. A full-time COO typically costs between $150,000 and $250,000 a year. Once you add in benefits and bonuses and sometimes equity in your business, the real commitment is closer to $180,000 to $300,000 a year. For many 7 or 8-figure business owners and companies like you, that feels risky. That feels too much. You might think, listen, we need help, but not for 40 hours a week. Or I'm not sure if the problems really justify a full-time COO executive. Or even, I want to test it out first before locking myself into a long-term hire. Listen, those are reasonable and valid concerns. And they're exactly why outsourced services like the COO Solution exist. So let's talk about what an outsourced COO actually is, because there's a lot of confusion around that term. An outsourced or part-time COO, Chief Operating Officer, is not a consultant who hands you a report and then disappears. This is an implementation and execution partnership. We step into your business with a boots on the ground COO as operational leadership. We work a set number of hours per month based on what your business actually needs for where you are now, but also for where you're going. Because as those hours can scale up or down as things change in your business up or down, it's not linear. At the COO Solution, that also means you're not hiring just one person. You get a full solution. Yes, you get a dedicated COO backed by a whole team with experience across systems and finance and marketing and sales and team and leadership, and most importantly, execution. We become part of your leadership structure. We work with you. We work with your team. We run your meetings. We manage the day-to-day so you don't have to. And most importantly, we focus on results, not just recommendations. Now, here's where part-time support really shines. First, the cost efficiency. Most companies spend 30 to 50% less than they would on a full-time COO. You're paying for the hours you actually use, not for unused capacity. And because we focus on implementation, the return often shows up quickly in a matter of a few weeks. Second, flexibility. Your business doesn't need the same level of support forever. Some months or quarters require more hands-on leadership. Others, maybe not so much, perhaps less. And a part-time COO adjusts with you, not having to renegotiate a job description or restructuring payroll or a contract agreement or anything like that. Third, immediate expertise. There's no learning curve. We use a proven 30, 60, 90-day methodology that works across industries and different business sectors and all stages of growth. You don't wait months for momentum. You feel the difference clearly and early. Founders often tell us that the most significant benefit isn't actually financial, although that does help. It's time. When a COO runs the operations, your day-to-day, you get your most valuable asset back. Your time, your focus. You stop firefighting. You stop answering every single question in the business. You stop being the approval bottleneck. Instead, you spend more time on revenue, strategy, partnerships, and leadership, big ideas, big vision, big planning. And lastly, work-life balance becomes possible once again. Clarity replaces the chaos. I'll give you an example. One of our clients, Amy Anderson, described it as feeling her shoulders drop. She finally had space to think again. And another client of ours, Rocky Anderson, went from working 70-hour weeks to actually taking real vacation. And at the same time, his revenue actually grew dramatically and his involvement in the day-to-day operations dropped by more than half. That's the power of exemplary operational leadership, even on a part-time basis. And while your role improves, the organization benefits too. Your team members benefit from this partnership because a strong outsourced COO builds systems that create consistency, accountability, ownership within the organization with your team members so they know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So your team gets more self-ownership for the results on a day-to-day basis. And strategic initiatives actually get finished. Your to-do list reduces because you have somebody there to make it happen for you. And lastly, financial visibility improves. You can see your profit margins, your revenue growth, your projections, your budget on how you're actually doing financially. And you build the infrastructure that supports 2 or 3 times your current size. Listen, this is how businesses scale without burning out their founders. So if you're evaluating outsourced COO options, there are a few things to look for. First, implementation. You want someone who executes with you, not someone who tells you what to do and then leaves. Second, flexibility. Ask how hours adjust. Ask what happens after the first 30 days, the first 90 days, what happens after the first 6 months. What does it really look like? And ask whether you're locked into a long-term contract. You don't want to be committed to something that's not generating the ROI, the results, or the value. And third, experience and methodology. A good COO, Chief Operating Officer, should know exactly what the first 30 days look like, how structure gets built into the next 30, and so on, and how optimization follows as a result. At the COO Solution, the first month is all about stabilizing and assessing. We find quick wins, low-hanging fruit within the first couple of weeks that build rhythm, results, and create visibility. The second month is about structure, systems, roles, accountability, and KPIs. And the third month is about optimization and scale, strategic planning, embedded leadership, big vision creation, and getting you firmly back into your CEO role. After that, everything is month to month. We earn trust through results, not through contracts. If you're considering the best outsourced COO for part-time hire, the next step is simple. We start with a conversation. We look at where you're stuck, where your business actually needs, and what level of support makes the most sense, not just right now, but for where you're going. Then we recommend the right COO and the proper engagement with a clear rationale. No pressure, no long-term lock-in, just the right leadership at the right level at the right time. I'm Derek Fredrickson, and this is the COO Solution.